Haitian president appeals for calm amid ongoing protests. And in sport, Trinidad and Tobago's Olympic Committee boss confident about the team's chances at this week's World Championship in Doha. I'm Ricardo Robertson. This is Caribbean in 10 for Wednesday, September 25th, 2019. I'll be back with the details after the break. Haitian President Jovenel Moïse appealed for calm on Wednesday amid ongoing protests that have practically paralyzed the country. In an early morning television broadcast, Moïse also said he had no intention of resigning. He added that he had cancelled his trip to the United States, where he was due to address the United Nations General Assembly in order to address the problems facing the country. Haitians have been taking to the streets to demand Moïse's resignation. Several efforts to get the Senate to ratify the new Prime Minister Jean-Michel Fritz have failed as supporters of opposition legislators have taken over the building. Haitians have also been protesting a fuel crisis that has forced the closure of gas stations across the country. Suppliers of gasoline are demanding as much as $100 million they say are owed to them for previous shipments before they deliver more supplies. The Central Bank of Guyana has rejected the intended sale of Scotiabank's Guyana operations to the Trinidad-based Republic Financial Holding Limited. Finance Minister Winston Jordan says the Guyana government had been made aware of the central bank's position, and he says Cabinet and the bank's governor, Dr. Gobin Ganga, agreed that the reasons given were important to Guyana's economy. We get more in this news source report.
The two banks have been informed of the central bank's decision, according to Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Gobin Ganga. Dr. Ganga told News Source this evening that a complete evaluation of the takeover plan was done, and a decision was made not to grant approval to the proposed move. He said there were a number of factors that influenced that decision, including competition and concentration in the market. It was back in November last year that Scotiabank announced plans to sell all of its Guyana operations to Republic Bank Holdings Limited, which is the parent company of Republic Bank. The government of Guyana immediately raised its concern and pointed out that with Republic Bank currently holding 35.4% of the banking system's assets and 36.8% of deposits in Guyana, its acquisition of Scotiabank would push its stake in the local banking sector to over 51% of both assets and deposits. Scotiabank has moved to sell out its operations in 8 other Caribbean nations. Approval has been granted in at least 7 of those nations, with Antigua being the other country strongly objecting to the takeover plan.
Over in the Bahamas now, the official death toll from Hurricane Dorian has climbed to 54. Police Commissioner Anthony Ferguson says 45 bodies have so far been recovered in Abaco and 9 in Grand Bahama. But Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands says that the number is expected to rise when autopsies have been performed and the identification process completed.
That there are 2 persons in Grand Bahama who have not been identified and who remain unidentified. All the others have been identified, and once identified and their autopsy and death certificate completed, their remains are turned over and have been turned over to their families. In Abaco, the number is less than that, but I don't have the exact number. What we would like to be able to do is to, using sanitized information, obviously, to protect the identities of those persons and their families, to give the public an understanding of that total number, how many have been identified, how many are left to be identified.
It was business as usual in Bermuda today as Tropical Storm Jerry was downgraded to a post-tropical cyclone as it headed towards the island. The authorities said that the weakening Jerry was located 155 miles west of Bermuda, packing 45 miles per hour winds with higher gusts and moving northeast at 7 miles per hour. They added the closest point of approach to Bermuda will be 11 p.m. local time, when it is expected to be 30 miles away or closer. The Miami-based National Hurricane Center says gradual weakening is expected during the next few days. School and government offices remained open on Wednesday and buses were out on the roads, although ferry service remained suspended because of the gusty conditions. The Royal Bermuda Regiment remains embodied. However, the cleanup from last week's Hurricane Humberto, which hammered the island with 125-mile-per-hour winds, continues in earnest, and Tropical Storm Karen drifted north from Puerto Rico presents a potential threat to the island later in the week. And stay with us, your Midday Sport is next.
Welcome to a brand new program called A Day in the Life of. This is where we take on different occupations around St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Today we're doing a construction worker with yours truly, Mosiah, right here on the job site, as we are at a site where newly constructed house. Okay, so we are using the mixer because this is a small gauge.
Yes, I just want it.
Okay.
We just found some homies over here. Yo, tell me your names, guys.
It's me, it's your bro, Anointed. You can follow me at He's Anointed.
Yo. It's your boy Frenchie Baby, the one and only Nazan. Follow me at Frenchie Baby. It's a movie, baby.
You already know what it is. Koozie all the way from San Francisco. Turf Fiends up. We out here. Comic-Con 2019.
It's your boy Jelani the Artist. You can follow me at Jelani the Artist. That's Jelani DH Artist.
Trinidad and Tobago's Olympics Committee boss Brian Lewis is confident about Team TTO's chances at this week's World Championships in Doha. Now, speaking to TV6's Vinud Nawani, Lewis says this year's event brings TNT's preparation for next year's Olympics into focus.
It's just a matter of days for Trinidad and Tobago's athletes to show what they can do on the world stage. They will be competing against the best of the lot in Qatar at the IAAF World Athletics Championships. Brian Lewis, who is the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee, says this event is very crucial for the athletes, with the Olympics taking place next year. Lewis says, quote, "I think this World Championships is extremely important, not just from a track and field perspective, but also as we look ahead to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. One can say this is a bit of a transition period for our track and field. There have been a number of challenges, so it's really a test of character and resilience for the members representing Team TTO," unquote. Regarding the Twin Island nations' chances of medaling at the World Championships, Lewis says the athletes have the potential to make it to the podium, but it's a step-by-step process. He says, quote, "I think that given the challenges that we face, in the first instance, I think the target for the members of Team TTO is to make the finals in their respective events. I think all the athletes representing us in Qatar have world-class talent and potential to reach the final. It's just about having the self-belief and self-confidence. Once we reach the 200, 400, 4x1 and 4x4 finals in the track events and the javelin and long jump in the field events, there is every reason for optimism that climbing the podium is a realistic expectation," unquote.
And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Until then, good afternoon.